Imagine if the world monetary system was built to fight climate change, so that every time you spend money, you're helping to protect the planet. One company claims to have developed the world's first digital currency that offsets carbon dioxide emissions.
You could fundamentally change the economic system because your underlying value is no longer essentially debt, which is fiat currency is based on. It's now something that we depend on, our world literally depends on.
This carbon currency is already accepted at shops and cafes in Switzerland and Denmark. Its developers say this is a solution for climate change that doesn't compromise economic growth.
The problem that causes climate change is inherently built into our economic system. We need to find another way in which we value and exchange value, with the underlying value being carbon mitigation, the removal of carbon from the atmosphere. And linking that to a currency was for us a brilliant solution that already existed out there in the world.
The idea of linking money to carbon removal might sound novel, but the practice dates back to 1997 when the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change adopted carbon credits. Carbon credits are based on projects meant to remove or reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Companies can trade these credits to offset their own emissions. For Toco, the certificates back up the currency as underlying assets. Toco says its system is safe and regulated. Its permissioned blockchain allows for transparency in tracking transactions, unlike some cryptocurrencies where ownership is harder to trace.
It differs from cryptocurrency because it's safe and secure. It's centralized. So the carbon reserve performs its function and determines the value of the currency. The currency is not determined by market movements and by sentiment, essentially.
But some experts are skeptical that a digital currency like this can have a meaningful impact on the environment.
I would urge caution, both to investors and public policy makers. These coins are not the answer to our prayers to contain climate change. They just multiply financialization of a common good instrument like the carbon certificates, adding volatility to both markets.
There's also a question about whether carbon trading is effective at all. According to a recent report by the German Öko Institute, fewer than 16% of the carbon credits issued to investigated projects actually reduced carbon emissions.
The temptation to arbitrage between carbon reduction targets and the purchase of carbon offset certificates is very strong, which means the market for the token can also be gamed, and it also creates a very strong incentive for nefarious interests to corner the market or squeeze the market, creating a market manipulation of the underlying asset market, meaning serious price dislocations.
Toco says there are currently about 1,000 users in Switzerland and Denmark, with plans to expand in Europe. So is this the future of climate finance or just a risky gamble?